Hey everyone, it's Barbara Ann. Welcome back to my channel, Straight Out of Context. Copyright disclaimer. Under the Copyright Act of 1976, I am within my full legal right to share these following clips via video and audio. The following creators allow reshare, redistribution, and download of their content, and as always, I credit in the description box down below. Fair use, public domain, TikTok third-party license, and TikTok Live automatic third-party license for the use of commentary, reaction, teaching, news reporting, research, comment, and criticism. I am legally within my basic human, civil, and constitutional right to share under the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, to share my expressions, views, thoughts, opinions, feelings, and critiques. The First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution guarantees my freedom of religion, freedom to exercise of, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, free assembly, and the right to petition the government and air my grievances. The First Amendment does not cover lies that amount to defamation, slander, libel, harassment, stalking, cyberstalking, bullying, cyberbullying, threats, or any other verbal crimes. Hey everyone, I hope you are doing well. I just watched a video by Renelle Smith, who is one of my personal favorites, and you gotta go watch. I'm going to say this very briefly. I've had my personal Facebook for over 16 years, my TikTok since 2018, my Instagram over 14 years, and my YouTube, I just celebrated my 3rd anniversary. Over 2 years ago, I started creating content full time. And a very large popular creator who talks about Katie Joy Paulson and Without a Crystal Ball gave me some very wise words of advice. This was my introduction to YouTube. And she said simply, just whatever you do, do not talk to or ever associate with Without a Crystal Ball. It was not Renelle Smith. I'm going to say that right now and make that clear. But this person told me that whatever you do, just block her, don't associate, don't talk to her. At that point, for nearly 5 years, she had been sued upwards of 6 times by some very big celebrities, including an ongoing lawsuit where she is being sued by Robert Shin, who owns 7M. Being very active, mostly on YouTube and on TikTok, I seen everything go down in the Gypverse before there was a Gypverse. I did my first TikTok video about Gypsy Rose Blanchard on October 12th of 2023 when I seen that Lifetime dropped a trailer for the prison confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Now, she wasn't to be released until December 28th of 2023. Now, of course, I had a very unpopular opinion and people ate me up in the comments. However, after she was released, I did a video speaking about it. At that time, and for a good half of 2024, Katie Joy Paulson was friends with the Blanchards directly. And this is not the first or last time we have seen people flip-flop from being enemies of the Blanchards to being friends with them to being enemies again. Famously, Fancy Maselli from the Good Wives Network was working with the Blanchard family and Gypsy herself for many years before she was ever released. And of course, she stopped once she got a hold of the medical records and started reading the case files. I have seen so many people come out of the woodwork all throughout 2024 and even some today in 2025 to insert themselves in the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. Also very widely known is the Adaptive Kate story. She talked about Gypsy Rose Blanchard in mainstream media and in interviews and podcasts. Then got involved in the Gypverse. Then was talking about how she was being bullied by everybody. Then she magically makes up with and becomes friends with Gypsy, which only lasts for a few months before Gypsy breaks up with her officially in November of 2024. There have been so many liars, frauds, clout chasers, coattail riders, and attention seekers come out and use Gypsy Rose Blanchard simply for clicks and views. When the truth started coming out, people started switching sides left and right. Not only was their compass upside down, their moral compass went completely haywire, like being in the Bermuda Triangle. We've seen this recently with Ivory Rose Grows Wild, renamed to Ivory Rose Grows Louder. and very well known with Katie Joy Polson from Without a Crystal Ball. But I'm telling you, you got to go watch Renelle Smith's video because it breaks it down. I'm only going to use this little snippet because I want to show you just how good it is and that you've got to go watch. And this is regarding Katie Joy Polson, quote, coming back, unquote, which ironically, just like Gypsy, she never really left anywhere. I don't know if this is her referring to stopping talking about Gypsy because she still has here and there.
No, Fancy did not tell me to come on TikTok because of the drama. She said that the FOIAs had been released. And so there was like videos of like emails and that stuff. And so she was like, Katie, we've been working on this for such a long time. Like, you need to go check this out. It wasn't for drama. In fact, none of my communications with her were drama.
Look.
Okay, so the only reason I was back is because I got a message from Fancy about the FOIAs. And she just basically said, like, after all these years, people are starting to see and they're waking up and, like, other FOIAs came out, Katie, and, like, people are finally starting to believe us and you need to check this out. And I was like, okay. But then I was like, don't suck me back in.
Right. Yeah. No. Don't get sucked back in.
Because I don't want to be, like, I don't want to be fighting with people. I don't want to be, like...
Absolutely.
The only thing I've ever cared about is the truth.
Attention, and she got a lot of support from people. People were very much on her side and were like very much rooting for her. And then quickly, within the span of a couple months, people started turning on her. A lot of those people were referring to a creator that went by the Good Wives Network. I put on a post like when she was first released to let the wider media know that April Johns, aka Fancy Maselli, was spreading misinformation about Gypsy's case and reporting details about her case that were not only inaccurate but completely defamatory. April was saying things like Gypsy made up everything about what happened to her. She was in on what happened to her. She contributed to what her mom did to her. She just used this as an excuse to get a better conviction. She didn't really have the issues. She's a scammer.
Now, she is over on Instagram where she likes to post a lot of updates. She's also released her private text messages between her and Christy Blanchard or her and Gypsy. She has shared her opinions, thoughts, feelings, and has made very bold statements. But if we look back to when Gypsy announced her pregnancy, Katie Joy Polson was very much on the pro-Gypsy train. And she wasn't just an innocent passenger. This was all aboard co-conductor, actively proving herself to the Blanchard family that she can be trusted. Even going as far as saying, see, Gypsy, I can keep secrets, implying that she knew about the pregnancy before everybody else, forgetting that in the end of March of 2024 and April of 2024, Gypsy Rose Blanchard herself accidentally posted a positive pregnancy test to her Instagram and Facebook stories. We didn't need a source. We didn't need allegedly or confirmed because Gypsy herself told everybody at the same time. We didn't need to wait until July 11th to be told. And no, it doesn't matter who got it, when, where, why, or how first. Especially considering today that she's been caught 3 different times driving around with that baby unbuckled. And that is so ironic considering in season 2 of Life After Lockup, she gets her driver's license. She passes all of the tests and the road tests, and yet she's unbuckled in the back of Ken's Jeep. They also recently went to Austin, Texas, where he is seen not once but twice in her own content speeding. Yeah, we didn't need the pregnancy announcement. But Katie Joy Polson was very much still friends with the Blanchards and pro-Gypsy until people making, quote, anti-Gypsy, unquote, content started getting better views and ratings. Then we saw the flip, switching it up like Nintendo. We have simultaneously seen this several times throughout the years. People cover the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case and pull away from it once they've seen the truth. And people that inserted themselves into the Gypsy Rose Blanchard clout and drama, specifically on TikTok, literally come out of the woodwork, talking bad about Gypsy, and then later flipping, switching up, and becoming friends with her, as if that's their intention the whole time. When in reality, what they could have done was taken a small portion of all that time and energy and actually put it into making real quality content. In my opinion, it's because they thought being friends with Gypsy Rose Blanchard would get them a large following like Gypsy Rose Blanchard, especially if she is doing content with you or she is endorsing you and your page like she has done for her friend Bree. But that's normal for friends to do that. But the whole ironic part is out of 340 million American citizens, 8 billion people worldwide, you pick the one girl who has 9.5 million on TikTok, the one that killed her mom. It's not because of Gypsy. It's not because of being pro or anti. It's because of the attention, the views, the ratings, the clicks, the hot topic that it is. And then there are people that are here for a reason. For truth, for light, for justice, for transparency, and for actually delving into what the case really was. Which also brings me to the other videos that you have to go check out. And if you haven't, Into the Weeds podcast on YouTube and 1980 Millennial Commentates has been covering, as I said in a previous video, all of their Freedom of Information Act requests for Gypsy's emails while she was incarcerated. And they have been reading them. And they are over there making Ryan Anderson and his little tea spills once a month look weak as fuck. But you know what? I am so here for it. And the things that they have read are bombshell, including how much of a player Rod Blanchard truly is. If you haven't watched, definitely go over there because they deserve every view and comment that they get. And I've said it for the past week. If Gypsy is going to keep putting out Nick's emails from 2019, in my own opinion, that is a deflection. That is her projecting. That is not her saying, I'm a better person, I'm rehabilitated, I deserve to be free, and I deserve my freedom. I deserved my parole, and now I'm done. That is her still simultaneously trying to throw Nicholas Godejohn under the bus. And we know she knows she's responsible for manipulating Nicholas Godejohn. She's said it right when she got off of parole in a post on her social media accounts. But she also admits it in her book released, Conversations on the Eve of Freedom, and she had to have said it to the parole board. But as I've been saying, it means nothing to show those messages from Nicholas to a woman who was allegedly sent in there purposely to pretend to be his girlfriend to elicit this from him. That is why it is called the Nicholas Infiltration Group from 2019. That's the messages and emails that Gypsy is showing. But it makes no difference unless she's going to show all of her own emails. Because while she can point the finger and say that Nicholas is a bad guy, look at this is what he does, this is how he manipulates. Let's see all of yours because we know you manipulate, Gypsy. We know you do. In fact, in my mind, it makes her that much more guilty. Hear me out. Because even 10 years after her crime, she still is trying to say, see, look, he's the bad guy. He's the one that deserves to be in prison. He's the one that committed the act. Her doing that publicly while taking all responsibility for Nick behind closed doors and in front of the parole board to be granted parole shows you with her act of putting those messages out that she has not changed. And she's just as bad as what she's trying to point fingers at. It's not about who, what, where, when, why, or how. It's the fact that Gypsy is doing it to begin with, that she's not changed. that she hasn't truly learned anything, and she truly doesn't feel accountable or remorseful for dragging a third party, Nicholas Godejohn, into her first-degree premeditated murder. But you have to go watch these videos because it is absolutely mind-blowing that we were correct the whole time. And it just reassures and reaffirms me that on October 12th of 2023, when I did my first video about this and her lying about being SA'd on her documentary, on interviews, and her saying no, she wasn't on the stand at Nick's trial, that my gut instinct and my intuition has been correct since October 12th of 2023. When I realized that lie, and I knew right away. And that is exactly where, when, and how I got into looking into the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case and documenting and following her lies, her inconsistencies, her behavior, her actions, her words, and her choices since being released. Justice unserved is justice denied. And we are setting a precedent that is in all the wrong directions. When we sit back, wash our hands, and turn the other cheek to cases this egregious.
The flip-flops are what gets me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because one day... Yeah.
And since she mentioned the act there, I do remember now there is another email from Tattoo Guy, I think, or maybe it was someone else that we need to go over, where she talks about everything in the act being true.
Yes, I remember seeing that somewhere. Let me see if I put it in my notes. There was one thing that was related to the act that I accidentally left out. Okay. So there is a message somewhere, and I will look through and see if I can find it, where she talks about how she doesn't like the act, but the reason why is because they made money off of her. Not because there wasn't some accuracies to it, but because her and her family weren't consulted, because Joey King was not allowed to talk to her. And like was specifically instructed not to. And that also that some of the producers from Hulu or whoever was running the show had reached out to her, and she said she didn't want any involvement. She didn't want them to make it, and they just ignored her and did it anyway. So it seemed like her main issue with that was just that she was not profiting off of it rather than it being inaccurate. I personally think the act is probably really over exaggerating Dee Dee's role and everything. I do find personally, I feel like Dee Dee was a little abusive, but I don't think that she was what the act portrayed. That was really intense. And I know that Gypsy was also really upset that I think it's Patricia Arquette that played Dee Dee ended up winning like an Emmy, or at least being nominated for one. And she's like, well, they're winning Emmys when the famous Gypsy Rose Blanchard is just sitting behind bars. So
Gypsy has complained since I'm sorry. I thought you stopped. We had a little lag. Gypsy has complained since she got out, though, about the inaccuracies of the act.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny because up further towards the beginning, she talks about the act, and she talks about how pretty accurate it actually is.
And I have something that I'm about to show where she says that as well.
Yeah, it's another one of her flip-flops, because in prison, she was saying it's accurate. Now she says it's not.
Yeah, so let me go straight to that. I'm going to be skipping a couple notes real quick.
She had to have watched it at some point.
Oh, she's definitely seen it now. 796.
Well, she'd clearly seen it in there.
Okay. So everyone, we're moving to page 796, just telling you in case someone wants to come back and check later. I guess maybe I can read the first message. I think this is the message that's inbound. And I'm going to read it. It's not that juicy, but it kind of adds a little context, but not that much. Anyway, I'm just going to read it. Hi, Gypsy. I'm blank and I'm from the UK. I live in a place called Gosport, which is near Portsmouth, England. I saw your documentary here and became so drawn to your story, and I'm literally just watching the act, which I had sent to me on DVD. It's shocking what you had to deal with, and my heart feels for you. You've grown up into a beautiful princess like you always wanted to be, and you have so much support for you. It's awesome, but I'm sure that you know this already. I can understand your mindset, about the whys and wheres and the what ifs, etc. And I truly wish that you didn't have to serve time in prison you've been in prison pretty much your whole life. And I hope that one day you gain your freedom soon. I myself have had cancer twice and one, and I know about sickness very well. I am now 50 years old with 4 teenage boys of whom I am very proud of. They lost their mom to a heart attack last year, and it's been and will be a continuing battle with their grief. Before this tragedy happened, I was a model for catalogs, but now I'm a full-time dad. It's the hardest job ever, I can tell you. Even though I'm 50, I don't look my age, which is a blessing, LOL. I don't know if you'll receive this email or reply to it, but I hope that you can see it works. And who knows, we can become friends. Okay, keep strong, Gypsy, as you have a lot of support for you. Before I get into the next message, I noticed that a lot of the people that write her are people that have had cancer, a lot of people that served in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I saw a couple of them.
A lot.
Really? A lot?
Yeah.
And just what I've read, and we read totally different sections. A lot of grandparents.
Yep.
A lot of
only replies to men. Older men.
Yes.
Men who send pictures.
Yeah, definitely. So did it tell you how his wife passed away? Because I read somewhere where it showed how his wife passed away, or did it just say that she passed away?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, I think that it says somewhere that she had like.
Yeah, it was in the email you read.
It was in that one?
Yeah,
okay.
it says
Sorry. Okay. So, anyway, Outbound. This is from Gypsy. Thank you. My uncle's wife died just like yours. She was in the kitchen and sat down and it happened. It's very sad. The scenes in the act are true. Even that movie theater scene. Yeah, I know. Not so classy having sex in a bathroom stall. Let's just say I've improved on my level of class. LOL. I can't imagine having to be a single parent to 5 children, but I'm sure you're doing just fine. And I'm sure when you're healed from your loss, the right woman will come into your life. You are much too handsome. And then it cuts off. So somewhere I feel like I saw that he had sent her a picture. But like I said, these are so out of order. It's hard to make sense of it, but maybe someone in a couple weeks can make a little more sense of it.
Thank you.
But what was really important there to me, and I think to Millennial, and probably to you as well, and everybody else in chat, is that earlier she said that she's still kind of a virgin. And then here, when she's having a conversation with someone where it seemed like they're kind of having a heart-to-heart, and unless there's a missing message, which there probably is, I didn't see anything sexually charged other than him just calling her beautiful and stuff like that. But she just goes out of her way to say, yeah, I know it's not so classy having sex in a bathroom stall, but I've improved on my level of class. She went out of her way to say that that was true. Not that she was R-worded in the stall. Not that they tried to do it in the stall, but that they had sex in a stall, and she said it like it's a funny story.
Right. Yep. And she goes back and forth so much on whether or not she was R-worded, whether or not she actually came out of jail a virgin. Like, it's ridiculous. She said in the interrogation that Nick R-worded her. And she said on the stand under oath that he didn't. And then she said in her book that he did. And she has said in these emails to one guy that she is basically still a virgin. And then to another guy, yeah, all the scenes in the act were true. Even that sex in the bathroom stall. Ha ha ha. I've gotten classier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And When He Can't Create says with a diaper on. That's something that she started saying since she got out of jail. I don't know if it's something she ever said in any of her emails or phone calls, but I haven't seen it yet. But it seems like she was trying to entice somebody there. So obviously she wouldn't bring up the diaper. So that's probably what her excuse would be. But I don't know. But, oh yeah. Anarchy Face says, completely admitting the fact that she did the deed several times after her mom in the hotel room with brownies and at Nick's house.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I remember Nick's dad or stepdad saying,
Oh,
yeah.
and they said that they were like rabbits and they were very loud.
With
over
his
and over
brother
again.
in the house.
Yeah, that he had to go talk to him and remind them that there's a little kid in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
He even said that Gypsy was making noises really loud. You know?
The Menendez brothers are getting attention due to a dramatization of their crime. How did it feel for that to happen to you with the act?
I mean, it was heartbreaking because unfortunately a lot of people seem to think that they know what happened and the events that took place by watching a TV show. And it was over dramatized. They got things incorrect. So to say that people should base their knowledge of a case on a dramatization is very inaccurate. That is not the way to go about it. I stress documentaries that do a deep dive into a case or someone's life. Real life research is the best beyond anything that you could find.
The Menendez brothers are getting... How did it feel for that to happen to you with the act?
I mean, it was heartbreaking because unfortunately a lot of people seem to think that they know what happened and the events that took place by watching a TV show. And it was over dramatized. They got things incorrect. So to say that people should base their knowledge of a case on a dramatization is very inaccurate. That is not the way to go about it. I stress documentaries that do a deep dive into a case or someone's life. Real life research is the best beyond anything that you could find.
I have one last question.
Yes.
I'm sure people have asked you this. In the movie, The Act, how did you feel about Joey King playing it?
I think, okay, so I did not watch all of the act. I watched probably about 30 minutes of it when I got out. She watched it all. But I think Joey King did an amazing job playing me. I even DM'd her like last January, February, and I told her, congratulations. I think you got my stamp of approval. You did a wonderful job. And so
Did she respond?
Yeah. She said that, she hoped that she portrayed me to the fullest extent, that she hopes, it met my approval. It was a huge undertaking, but it was a great exchange. And I really appreciate her courage for taking on such a complex role and story. So.
It's actually not complex. You simply lied and killed your mom just over the fact that you wanted to have the life that you wanted. You could have done that without taking her life. That's the problem. You can't use the abuse excuse when you bring a third party into the mix. That doesn't fly for self-defense either.
For her not visiting with Gypsy, you normally meet a character you're going to pay because Michelle Dean didn't allow it, and that's a whole other story.
Yeah, one of the producers.
That's a whole other story. Yeah. And but I even was like, Joey King nailed it, the voice and everything.
I thought for sure she had come to visit you.
No. There's a lot behind the act that nobody talked about, and that was, and essentially.
But how does she know that Joey did a phenomenal job playing her if she only watched 30 minutes of it? How does she know that there's inconsistencies or things that were made up, fictionalized, dramatized? I mean, it was a dramatization. When she says again that she hasn't watched all of it, then how would you know?
Hulu and the producers stole my story and made a huge successful show out of it. Didn't pay me life rights, didn't come to talk to me, didn't have any conversations to know what was accurate, what was not accurate. So to this day,
as if they were going to get the truth from Gypsy Rose Blanchard herself. She's out of prison and off parole and still hasn't told the truth. To learn the truth would have meant getting the case files and speaking to the law enforcement officers that investigated. Because asking a liar and a murderer, they just lie more. That's what they do. Count on one hand how many murderers you know that came out and were honest before or after getting caught. I'll wait. And Jeffrey Dahmer doesn't count.
A lot of people are like, they will go off of the events that they've seen and the details that they've seen on the act, and they're incorrect because it was filler. It was filled in by producers.
Well, Sheldon goes to this.
Sure, that's a whole other story. But essentially, I spoke out from behind bars and let them know, I don't support this. Like, this is wrong. You're taking a tragic event and you are Hollywooding it up, and now...
The tragic event that you caused and that you came out and made a ton of money off of. The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Life After Lockup, Seasons 1 and Seasons 2, released, My Time to Stand, The View, countless ABC 2020 interviews, podcasts. The hypocrisy is so fucking ripe that it's astonishing. But they say, oh, well, it's her story. Yeah, but she doesn't own Dee Dee's story and she doesn't own Nick's story. Nobody put her in charge of telling their story and their truth, or his mother, Stephanie Goldhammer.
People, when they write me, they're confused because they don't know fact from fiction. That's why I encourage so many times people are like, I've never heard of you. I tell them, go watch HBO documentary Mommy Dead in Years instead of saying go watch The Act. Because, one is factual and one is Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, the act was so over dramatic when there's so much drama already.
My life is naturally dramatic.
It's like, why?
Like, what did they over dramatize?
What didn't they over dramatize?
Really?
Like some stuff I just had to roll my head, and it's been a while, but what?
But Gypsy didn't watch it, so how does she know?
What I did was with In Touch, I debunked the things that were wrong. And yeah, I wasn't going to allow them to just say, yeah, this is how it is.
Gypsy slips up, which I absolutely love because it's a Freudian slip. And she says, my life is already dramatic. Yeah, because you make it so with your actions, words, choices, and behaviors. That is nobody else's responsibility or fault. But I'm using this besides her own book to show you where she did talk about the act at. In this podcast with Tori Spelling and at San Francisco State University, where she gave a prison reform speech. And she still holds to she never watched the act. Then how do you know they got things wrong? You had to have watched it to know what was wrong and what wasn't. Her biggest gripe is that she didn't get paid anything for it, that she didn't want it to be done because she wanted to have total control. She's mad because she didn't make the millions of dollars. And she's really, really pressed and doesn't want people to watch it because she says she didn't get paid life rights. But the thing is, this crime in this story isn't just Gypsy's. It also belongs to Dee Dee Blanchard, Nicholas Godejohn, extended family, and his extended family. Trust me, boo, ain't nobody over here paying life rights for Gypsy Rose Blanchard. That is a show and an entire story that nobody wants. And the reason why the whole thing is so complex and diverse is because it also includes the life story of Dee Dee Blanchard and Nicholas Godejohn. Gypsy Rose Alcida Blanchard is only known because she killed her mom. And even still, most people in the United States and the world have no idea who she is. This is a very small corner of a niche of a niche of a niche in the true crime community. But the reason why she doesn't like the act, she doesn't like how she's portrayed, because it is very far from reality. It's over dramatized. But really, it all comes down to blood money and wanting to make money off of this crime any which way she can. It's not about life rights to her story, because her story is nothing without the life rights and the story of Dee Dee Blanchard and Nicholas Godejohn. So if you didn't know, you now know. This is where she has spoken about The Act, which was done by Hulu, in the San Francisco State University, in Tori Spelling's podcast, and her book, My Time to Stand. But I want you to go watch and pay really close attention to the details in her email that are regarding the act.
No, boo, that's not how it was.
You read?
It was in that one?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So anyway, Outbound, this is from Gypsy. Thank you. My uncle's wife died just like yours. She was in the kitchen and sat down and it happened. It's very sad. The scenes in the act are true. Even that movie theater scene. Yeah, I know. Not so classy having sex in a bathroom stall.
And then what happens?
And then she wanted to have sex with me, so I did.
Okay, she wanted to have sex with you?
Yes.
Okay, and so where'd you guys have sex at?
In her bedroom.
In
her bed.
Her bed. In
Yes.
Gypsy's bed?
Yes.
Okay. And so you guys have sex?
Yes.
And what kind of sex? What is sex like to you?
Well, to me, the context that it was pretty much about 100% consensual. Is what I'm looking for. Yeah. Okay. Because she, obviously I was the one that was in charge, but she went along with it willingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what did you guys do when you had sex?
We pretty much did all three things. We did anal, we did all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had anal sex with her?
Yes.
And then what's the other? I can't guess.
Oral,
Okay.
like I said, all of them. Vaginal, all of them.
Okay.
Okay. When you say oral, is that you providing oral sex to her and her providing oral sex to you, or is it both? Okay.
Both.
And that happened in her bed?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if this is the first time Gypsy ever had sex?
Actually, I do know if it is.
Is it or not?
It isn't.
Okay. So she's had sex before she had sex with you?
She's had sex with me. I actually one who took her virginity.
Oh, so you guys had sex a different time than this?
Yes.
Oh, when did that happen?
It was in a what the heck was it? It was a theater.
In a theater?
Yeah.
In Springfield or somewhere different?
Springfield.
Wow. Did her mom know?
We kept it from her mom.
Okay. Where did you have sex at in the theater?
It was in a bathroom.
Okay. In a girl's bathroom or boy's bathroom?
She just took me to the boys' bathroom. I didn't have any choice. I went right into the boys' bathroom. I was okay with it.
Okay. Okay. Was that a year ago, 2 years ago? How long ago was that?
That was back in March.
Back in March of
This year.
Oh, okay. So you were in Springfield before.
Yep.
And did her mom know you were here?
No, I got to meet her mom in person for the first time.
And was her mom nice to you, or?
Yeah, she was really nice to me. And then, I don't know what it was, but apparently the night got ruined in some way. I was trying to understand what was wrong with her mom, but I don't know exactly what happened.
So did you meet her at the theater?
Yeah, I did meet her, but I was waiting for her for quite some time before I did.
Okay, okay. And then what happened after you guys had sex at the theater?
We went to our movie and watched it.
And then what happened after the movie?
Then I said, my goodbyes to her.
Go buy a store?
No, I said my goodbyes to her.
Oh, say goodbyes to her. I was like, go to the store. Okay, so you said your goodbyes to her, and then you went your way, and you went back home. How did you get here that time?
She got me the money.
She gave you money?
Yep.
How did you get the money?
She sent in the mail. Oh, do I ever.
You love her a lot?
I was bummed my eyes out waiting for this moment to where I can talk to you.
Okay.
Because I was so worried about her.
Let's just say I've improved on my level of class, LOL. I can't imagine having to be a single parent to 5 children, but I'm sure you're doing just fine. And I'm sure when you're healed from your loss, the right woman will come into your life. You are much too handsome, and then it cuts off. So somewhere I feel like I saw that he had sent her a picture. But like I said, these are so out of order. It's hard to make sense of it, but maybe someone in a couple weeks can make a little more sense of it.
Thank you.
But what was really important there to me, and I think to Millennial, and probably to you as well, and everybody else in chat, is that earlier she said that she's still kind of a virgin. And then here, when she's having a conversation with someone where it seemed like they're kind of having a heart-to-heart, and unless there's a missing message, which there probably is, I didn't see anything sexually charged other than him just calling her beautiful and stuff like that. But she just goes out of her way to say, yeah, I know it's not so classy having sex in a bathroom stall, but I've improved on my level of class. She went out of her way to say that that was true. Not that she was R-worded in the stall. Not that they tried to do it in the stall, but that they had sex in a stall, and she said it like it's a funny story.
Right. Yep. And she goes back and forth so much on whether or not she was R-worded, whether or not she actually came out of jail a virgin. Like, it's ridiculous. She said in the interrogation that Nick R-worded her. And she said on the stand under oath that he didn't. And then she said in her book that he did. And she has said in these emails to one guy that she is basically still a virgin. And then to another guy, yeah, all the scenes in the act were true. Even that sex in the bathroom stall. Ha ha ha, I've gotten classier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Winnie Can't Create says, with a diaper on. That's something that she started saying since she got out of jail. I don't know if it's something she ever said in any of her emails or phone calls, but I haven't seen it yet. But
the only person in the Blanchard family who is truly living their best life is Mia Blanchard, and damn, is she a hottie. And the fact that Gypsy cannot compete with her in life or aesthetics, I don't know, maybe that's what she deserves. Because simultaneously, while Gypsy got famous and wealthy off of blood money for committing a crime of killing her mother, her little sister, Mia, did everything the right way. Being hot and have everybody constantly telling you that in the comments has got to be the day that Gypsy truly deserves. You know that drives her crazy. You know that just eats her up inside. Because that is exactly how Gypsy utilizes sex and her physical appearance to manipulate men. It must really suck to have a sister who is literally 1,000 times hotter than you. And the fact that she has to tell everybody she's living her best life and deleting her TikTok app while she had to install it again to post it to TikTok. The real one out here living her best life is the one that doesn't have to say it and try to convince you of it. Best life or not, have the life that you truly deserve. And that goes for everybody. I'm not exempt from that. Before I end this video, I have to add something. Katie Joy Polson is apparently live over on TikTok, even though she said she's not here for the drama and she was done talking about Gypsy in January of 2025. She's showing private correspondence from Bree, Gypsy's friend, when she accidentally forgot to end a TikTok live and she was telling Gypsy to lie to her parole officer. Bree actually had the audacity to go to Katie Joy Polson to ask for advice. Strange. Like, even if she was the last person on planet Earth, that is the one person you do not go to. And then they wonder why she flipped. Yeah, they might have gained a point for getting Ivory Rose Grows Louder, but they certainly lost 50 when they lost Katie Joy Polson from being on their side. And I think it's hilarious that she's right back to TikTok, going live and showing all of her private correspondence, completely making a mockery of Gypsy, her team, her family, and all of her friends and supporters. But guess what, my beauties? Guess what? Gypsy Rose Blanchard didn't even last 24 hours and she changed her TikTok picture. She says she's not in her Lord of the Rings era, she's in her healing era. That should have took place while you were incarcerated for 8.5 years. You know, through the very intensive psychotherapy that she should have been receiving. And therapy. But she completely scrubbed all of her reposts and her subscribers are back up to 70 when she was at one point down to 28. You know what that means? She's making about $280 a month just from subscribers on TikTok. And if she does not give every single one of these perks to every single one of her 60 subscribers, she's in violation of TikTok community standards, including direct messages, comment response, live shout outs, and not to mention every single one of the subscribers is supposed to be able to get all of these perks: sub-only space, sub-only live, subscriber notes, sub-only live chats, multi-guest requests, direct messages, comment response, and live shout outs. If all 60 of those people do not get every single one of those things, then that's a violation. But I digress. I am going to include a video from a 1980 millennial because she tagged me in it, and I think it's really great that she is undertaking the immense job that it is to sort through all of those emails and to read them. I think that is fabulous, and it is wonderful of all of those ladies to do that job, to undertake that job, to break it down so we can all just easily hear what these emails say. So thank you to all of them for that. And if you don't already, go follow her over on YouTube and follow her on TikTok. There's more to come, but they're going live again today. And oh my goodness, am I here for it? I am living for this. Living. Not only are the details completely juicy, but it reaffirms and reassures everything that we knew to be correct to begin with.
Hey friends, as most of y'all know, I have been helping Into the Weeds podcast present the latest FOIA of Gypsy Rose's prison emails. And as we've told y'all in the podcast, the document is massive, it's messy, and it's really hard to go through and make sense of. So eventually it will be put out there, but I've been given permission to go ahead and make some videos and put a few parts out there. So we're going to go over the goddess emails. Let's go, friends. This email came in to Gypsy on July 21st, 2023, so after she was married to Ryan. Now, Amber saw something in the emails that makes her think that this was from a woman. I haven't seen that myself yet, so the gender, I'm not personally positive on. What we do know from later emails is that this person is a 59-year-old grandparent living in New Jersey. This is Gypsy's response on the very same day. This is a wild response for someone who claims to not like their fame or media attention or the things that come along with it. It's also a pretty wild response for a married woman, and Ryan has indicated on TikTok recaps of this in a comment that he did not know what was going on, even though Gypsy indicated in emails that we'll see later that he did know. They correspond again on July 24th, 2023. And this person, who, in my opinion, seems very sad, possibly maybe a mental illness. I can't diagnose that. I'm not qualified. I'm just speculating, but something sad is going on here. So they respond and they call her goddess again, say they are shocked and excited. It's a dream come true. They want to be one of her loyal admirers more than anything. Happy birthday. Let me know what I should send for your birthday, and with $2 signs. Gypsy responds twice and says, "It's very kind of you. You decide what to send me. The only thing people can send me is dollars because where I am, other gifts are not allowed. Sad face. I appreciate it." And also another one. "So tell me about yourself. What are your interests? What do you do for work?" Gypsy seems interested in talking to this person because she has a plan, y'all. She has got a plan. The next messages are on 7/25/23. I'm sure it's easy to tell which ones are the admirer and which ones are Gypsy. And this is where we learn that this is a 59-year-old grandparent living in New Jersey. This next set of emails are all from August 4th, 2023, and there's more money exchanged again, but nothing too serious there. But the next day is where we get to a real interesting part. Let's take a look, y'all. After some extra chit-chatting on the 4th, this is what Gypsy sends on the 5th. "I have a question. How would you feel about sending me $50 once a week on any day of your choice? That way I don't have to ask because I hate asking. I am kind of a prideful person who hates admitting I need to be taken care of. Hope to hear from you soon. Smiley face." Y'all, oh my God. Oh my God. And here's the kicker. So as we will see later on in the emails, this ends when she mentions her husband to this person. This person had read in the news that her marriage to Ryan had been annulled. And she lets this go on for a few months and then asks what they want in return for all this money and says, "My husband isn't comfortable with it." Well, Ryan has put out there on a comment that he's now apparently deleted on a TikTok that was recapping this, that he did not know. Let's take a look at his comment, y'all. So yeah, this lady here was recapping one of our lives, and she ended it by saying, "And by the way, Gypsy had pay pigs in prison and Ryan knew about it." So Ryan comes in with, "I didn't know." And he says, "I knew people messaged her, but not getting paid for it." Well, you know now, Ryan, you know now. And people tried to tell you, and you sat there being like, "I know, Gypsy. I know that what we had was real." Let me tell you something else. She was emailing everybody in the world that she was not attracted to you physically at all, and that it was emotional only. She called you her male best friend. On 8/7/23, here's what they responded. "Hi, Goddess Gypsy. Yes, thank you. I will send you $50 a week. Thank you, my goddess. You made me so happy. Not sure what the best day would be. Monday, so you have money for the week, or Friday, so you have money for the weekend. What do you think, goddess? Thank you for letting me take care of you. This means so much. Love, your obedient servant." Now, I found this email a little strange at first. It's outbound from Gypsy on August 25th, 2023. "Where is my loyal servant?" with a little smiley face. Until I looked up that date. Guess what, y'all? It's a Friday. She didn't get her payment on time, friends. This person replies to them same day and says that, "Oh, they're so sorry. They got busy with their grandson, but here's your weekly $50. Thank you for acknowledging me as your loyal servant. You made me so excited." Bleh. We haven't found an answer yet in these files for what caused Gypsy to kind of have a little change of heart here. Maybe, I mean, it's not exactly a change of heart, but anyway, she on September 9th, 2023, emails this person and says, "I have a question. I can't help but find it curious as to why you offer dollars so freely. What is it you expect from me in return? Everyone always has an intention. May I ask yours? I am married, if that makes a difference. I have talked with my husband and told him of your kindness, and he questions your motives. So that is why I ask." So yeah, we know that Gypsy Rose lies all the time. We don't have a lot of trust in Ryan because he's so enamored with Gypsy, but clearly one of them ain't telling the truth here. Well, who do you think it is, friends? So this person responds 2 days later on 9/11/2023 and says, "Hi, I was just trying to be nice to you, but I see you and your husband is a little suspicious. I will not correspond with you anymore." You notice they didn't call her goddess anymore. And Gypsy replies again, same day, "I wasn't trying to be rude and asking. My husband just didn't want me to mislead anyone to the wrong impression. I thank you for your kindness." after Gypsy sent that, the person didn't respond anymore. And the next day on 9/12/2023, Gypsy sent this message to them. You don't get to walk away from your goddess. I want my weekly $50. I am still your goddess and it would please me very much. And as far as I can tell, friends, I don't believe this person ever wrote her again. It is weird, y'all. When I'm telling you, it is so weird. Yeah. So like I've said before, this type of power exchange relationship is known as FinDom, financial domination. Y'all will want to take a look it up, look up what it is. Ryan Anderson might want to take a look too. Maybe Ken. Good God, what do y'all think? Lord. So again, we haven't been through all 1,090 pages of these emails, but as far as we can tell, that seems to be the last of the goddess person corresponding with Gypsy, but we don't know whether or not they kept J-paying her. I don't know if those records are ever going to be available. So it is possible that they stopped corresponding and kept paying after she sent that demand. We don't know. What do y'all think? Did any of y'all expect this? I didn't put it past her, but I didn't think that she was really capable. I don't know how to word that, but yeah, it's shocking how much more keeps coming out because like I've said before, it just appears to me that there's no one innocent in this situation. And as adamant as I am about being honest about Dee Dee, and the fact that, we do have a police report of her getting violent with a pizza delivery man. Still, the more and more that comes out, Dee Dee ain't looking so bad. I've got to say, oh my God. What do y'all think, friends? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to end up with a little video of the goldfish eating for a little palate cleanser. And I hope everybody is having a good and peaceful day, y'all. Today, July 8th, 2025, I'm going to be going live with Into the Weeds again in about an hour and 10 minutes at 4 p.m. Central on Into the Weeds podcast at Military Broadcast Radio. We're going to go over a little bit more of this shit show, y'all. Tune in and check it out. Have a good day, friends. 2018 Rod to Gypsy. Absolutely on point, baby. Clear and respectful. I understand 100%. You have to move on, and the media has done very little to advance that goal. I will take care of it from here. I keep having dreams about your real mom. Kind of weird. She's young and attractive, and I wake up sad. I'll never forget her, and I know you won't either. She was a good wife.
I'm sorry, but Rod's sitting there talking about Dee Dee and how beautiful and how attractive she is and how she was a great wife and he'll always miss her. And this is the lady that supposedly abused his daughter for 24 freaking years. Sends this email in 2018, barely 3 years after the murder, and sending it to the daughter that the ex-wife supposedly abused. Like, this is fucking insane. As a mother, I could not fucking imagine something like this supposedly happening to my child, and then me emailing that child and talking highly of the person who abused them. I'm sorry, but that's exactly the shit I'm talking about. Y'all know damn well Dee Dee wasn't doing all that crazy shit that Gypsy has claimed. Rod wouldn't have been so quick to be like, oh, she was beautiful, attractive, I miss her, she was a great wife. It's like Gypsy wouldn't all the time be like, he was my best friend. And this is wild, right? The fact y'all bring up media, how Gypsy is wanting to move forward and the media is not letting her, is the biggest crock of BS I've ever heard. And let's be real, the minute she got out, she hit every damn media outlet she could, gave them an interview, started a new show, all that. So it ain't the media, friend. She can't let go of her past because she hasn't been truthful about it. Our past tends to eat us up, fill us with guilt, resentments, anger, especially when we're having to lie about it. Considering Gypsy Rose made this whole lie into her moneymaker, she knew she was going to be in the media for a while anyway. But anyway, this is all alleged entertainment purpose, only my opinion. But Rod Blanchard said that shit.
Did anybody catch that YouTube 4-hour-long live that Brie posted the other day, it's now deleted or it got reported, because literally every other sentence she just goes, "You dumb fuck," like insane. But she started off the video like bawling her eyes out, saying there needs to be a trigger warning, that she cannot believe that creators that don't like Gypsy said this about Sheena, and she's so upset, she's crashing out. So obviously I didn't get through all 4 hours. But what I did see, all she did was talk about someone made their profile picture Sheena on a motorized scooter. Like, Sheena rides a motorized scooter. Like, why is that so crazy? You make AI photos all the fucking time. She literally made me an AI Wicked Witch before. Like, she probably made other photos too, but I never watched that video. And then their little friend Aubrey Strawberry made, like, me in, like, a trap house with my dying dog. Like, they're sick. But it's crazy to me, whenever she does these lives, it's literally her just complaining about cyberbullying while she cyberbullies. Like, I'm not even exaggerating with the, "You dumb fuck." Oh my god, it was all the time. Like, being that angry and passionate is not a bad thing, but you're defending Gypsy Rose and her 50-year-old friends. Like, be angry and passionate about something else. Like you said in that one video, like, world hunger and what's going on in the world. Also, if you guys heard Gypsy's emails, Into the Weeds on YouTube got Gypsy's emails from prison, and it is tea.
I hope your week and your weekend is as good as Mia looks. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Please like and share. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all on the flip side.